In this video, we'll be talking about Mars in Libra through each of the houses and what this placement means for you if you have it in your chart. So once I talk about the general meanings, there will also be the meaning for the houses. So you'll have to look in the description to see the timestamps and click on the one that corresponds to the house placement that you have Mars in. And you can look at both whole sign houses and Placidus, although the houses are mainly made with Placidus in mind. The timestamps are. So with that being said, what is Mars in Libra? Oh yeah, and one more thing, if you enjoy this video at any point, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more content about your placements when they come out, your other placements. So with that being said, Mars in Libra shows people that are diplomatic and controlled of their actions, because Mars represents action. It represents impulse. And Libra is about agreement. It's about relationships, and it's about relating to others. And so also Libra is an air sign, and air signs have to do with interaction. Hence why it's about relationships in this case. And air signs are about intellect as well. So Mars in Libra show people that are very good with words, and they are very good particularly at rallying support for their opinions or for their cause. That is their superpower, their strength of this placement, because each placement has a superpower, has a strength. That's how I like to think of them. And since Mars is about motivation and Libra is about others, those with Mars in Libra are so good at motivating others. These people are really good at business, and they're also really creative when it comes to strategy. And that is because their approach towards accomplishing things is to look at terms, laws, assets, and obstacles from a holistic standpoint. So this is because Libra is all about law, and it's all about terms and agreement. So the way that these people go about action is in a very strategic way that is intended to create the best outcome, or like the best reaction towards their endeavors. So that makes them very strategic, very good at words and stuff like that, and analyzing things from a holistic standpoint. So this is probably the most strategic Mars placement, believe it or not. More so, I believe, than even Mars in Scorpio. And so with that being said as well, Libra Mars is considered in fall. So why this may be the case is that sometimes these individuals can be passive aggressive, because Libra is quite a passive sign, and it's about being agreeable and relatable. And Mars wants to accomplish things, and Mars is very pushy. So it has a lot of contradictions or obstacles when it's in Libra, most of which are social obstacles, like how to get people to do what you want them to, and how to get things to happen in an agreeable manner when the power is in the hands of other people. And so this is why Mars in Libra can show people that learn to be very diplomatic and controlled of their actions. And sometimes they may have a difficulty taking a direct approach to their desires. And they will literally wait for the consequences of their actions to fall into place step by step. So again, very strategic people that will, connivingly or strategically enact the steps of a plan and wait for each weak point, or I guess each gateway point to open. Like they will go through the system of law, for example, when it comes to solving a legal case or a legal dispute, and they are the ones that will more than likely come out on top, because they have the patience and I guess the wisdom, or like the power to wait for the best circumstances to play out in their favor, instead of taking a direct and impulsive approach. So anyways, that's because Libra is about law as well. So this is a good example of this quality of themselves. So this placement of Mars is also the 12th sign from Scorpio, and Scorpio is traditionally ruled by Mars. so there's the influence of 12th house energy, and 12th house is about dreams. It's about imagination. It's about possibilities. So Mars and Libra individuals are also good at seeing a lot of the alternate possibilities of how to accomplish things. And they can also be big dreamers, which is something that is not necessarily talked about with this placement. The thing about this placement, though, is that they can be very big dreamers. And rather than having a proactive approach, they can always stay in the realm of strategy. As I was saying earlier, they're good strategists. So like overall, though, the combination of being a good strategist and a dreamer makes these people like the type of individuals that can create like master plans. Like they create a master blueprint or like a master strategy towards everything that they want to accomplish within their lifetimes. They're like master strategists. And that's because the 12th house makes things expanded and large and, infinite. When you combine that with the aspect of strategy, it makes like a master planner type of individual that like strategizes about things on a very large scale. So these can be people that, despite the connotation that it has of being in fall, these can be individuals, and I apologize for the notification sound there. These can be individuals that can conquer lands or like conquer nations because of just their like strategic prowess. So really their approach to doing things is to create a scenario where things are forced to go in their favor, because that's what Libra is about. Libra is about action and consequence, and it's about the natural response or result that we get from others when we do something, because it opposes the first house or the sign Aries. And so these individuals, when Mars is in this sign, shows that they have an approach to things that's all based on like getting things to respond in the way that they want, if that makes any sense. So that's why people don't know this about this sign. But once again, I'll say it, these are very great strategists. So they are good at things like at games such as chess, games of strategy. And that's how you know that you're against a Mars in Libra, or someone has Mars in Libra, is that they've always been like connivingly strategic, or they've always been able to come out on top of competition if there's an element of strategy. And they are best at matters of defense, because Libra is about barriers, and that's why it rules law, and it's about boundaries, and it's about terms, definitions, and stuff like that too, because it's about agreements. So those with Mars and Libra can be quite diplomatic, but also when it comes to physical things, which Mars rules, and like things such as sports, they are better at the defensive role, or they will tend to be. So if you have Mars and Libra and you play sports, let me know how that resonates in the comments. But I know many of those that have this placement, they excel in defensive roles. And they are good at counterattacks as well, because Libra is about responses. So these individuals are good at verbal responses, good at debate, stuff like that, because Mars is aggressive and it's about asserting yourself. So these are the best people at countering a argument or countering an attack or anything that has to do with responding. But when it comes to initiating things, they may have more of a passive tendency, more procrastinating, or always staying in the realm of strategy. And sometimes the strategy can outweigh like the ability to act, if that makes any sense. I'm sure all of us have experienced that on a lesser or greater form at some point, where we like overthink, over strategize to the point that the focus on the strategy itself becomes our action instead of like doing something. The other thing about Mars is very pushy, and Libra is about matters of agreement and diplomacy. And it's also about solving problems. It's all about solving the problems of others and our problems being solved by others too. And people may not know that about this sign, but that's also what agreement is about. It's what business deals are about. It's when you mutually solve each other's problems. And so Mars and Libra can be people that are motivated to solve problems as well. And Mars has difficulty in this sign because it can come across as pushy when they're trying to like enact something or make something happen. They're trying to create a solution, but it also revolves often another party. So Either they'll be very passive aggressive, or they'll be very passive, or they can be considered people that are too pushy, just because of the focus of their actions being around enacting a solution. And so it always involves, pushing others towards doing something. And that can be seen even in childhood. Like whenever they wanted to get something done, they might have relied on the parents or something, and they've always been good at persuasion and like motivating people to do things, but they can have had a pushy like attitude or approach as children of, trying to get their parents to do things a lot or something. That's how you have Mars in Libra, or that's how you see those tendencies in somebody else as a child. Now, with that being said too, Libra is an air sign, and air signs love to communicate and use logic. So Mars, being an aggressive masculine sign, loves to prove itself when it's in Libra. So another trait of yourself, and I guess the final trait we'll talk about before the houses, is just the fact that those with Mars in Libra have a desire to prove themselves, or to prove right from wrong, and also to defend justice. With that being said, the one advice though, and the one tendency that might sometimes come out, is the tendency to overreact when somebody has Mars in Libra. So this can be overreacting to other people's words, overreacting to aggression, or like fighting fire with fire. Like they have a tendency to not be initiators or aggressors, but when they are aggressed, they can actually come with a counterattack that's twice as strong, as a result, or like that's kind of their approach. And sometimes this can manifest as situations that they overreact to things. So that's the last tendency of Mars being in Libra. That's another reason why it could be considered in fall, because Libra is about reacting to things. So these people react naturally towards situations in life with aggression. Now let's talk about what it means through each of the houses. If this video has been resonating with you as well, consider getting a comprehensive natal chart reading, where I talk not just about this placement, but also the house placement that it is in your chart as a whole, with the rest of your other placements, and what this means about your personality and how you're perceived by other people, and also your life purpose. And the link for that is in the description, and that's AstroSeri.com. That's where you can book a reading. As well, I have an email in my description if you'd like to book a reading that way, and I take inquiries through email as well. So if you have Mars in Libra in the first house, which is the house of self, and this is the house of identity, and it's also about our appearance. First of all, Mars gives a muscular or strong physique when it's in the first house, and also Mars becomes an inherent part of the personality. So these, more than others, will show the Mars in Libra tendency to be overreactive and to always be on edge, or to have a strong character or like an aggressive character. But for the most part, these individuals like to fight for justice. And also, since the first house shows our focus and our approach to things and how we enact things, and that's also why Mars rules the first house and it does well in the first house, these people can be quite pushy individuals, but like they always like to push towards a certain cause, and they are like problem solvers as well. So these are the type of people that do well in fields of business, fields of sales and stuff like that, because they have a passion or a motivation for solving problems, especially other people's problems, and reaping a reward from that. And Mars gives this constant driver, this motivation to propose things when it's in Libra. So they're always enacting new ideas or propositions towards other people. So they're good salespeople and stuff like that. Next, we have the second house. And the second house is all about resources and value. And the main thing that stands out to me about Mars and Libra in the second house is this shows somebody that knows so many different ways to make income. They're very resourceful and strategic. And the aspect of Mars and Libra that is very big picture thinking and like very strategic alleviates their resources a lot. Like it helps them, come up with so many ideas of how to use their money to make things happen, or how to make more money. That is Libra, Mars in the second house. With Mars and Libra in the third house, this is the house of thinking and communication. And this shows that the way that you think or communicate can be aggressive or direct and punctual, because Mars is very to the point, and you might have a sharp tongue, but you might like have a sharp response to things rather than being like an aggressor. It's more so when people say something, you always have a sharp thing to say back. You're also a quick communicator, a quick thinker, with Mars and Libra being in the third house. And the way that you think is quite strategic. And last but not least, this shows people that are like really passionate about proving that they are right, because Libra is the sign of justice and truth, and it's like an air sign. This is about logic. So these are quite logical people that fight for the truth in terms of their words, and they also are combative using logic. So like they can prove other people wrong if people are wrong or if people are lying, and they also like to make a point and prove that they are right and get the support of other people towards their perspectives. If you have Mars in Libra in the fourth house, which is the house of our personal life, and it's about emotions, and it's about privacy, and it's about security. Mars is aggressive, and it's about action and impulse, and it's about our fighting spirit. And Libra is about defending things because it's about responding towards things. And the fourth house is about security. So together, this placement often shows people that are passionate about defending their security. And Mars is not only in fall in Libra, but in this case, it is considered debilitated when it's in the fourth house, just like Mars is debilitated in Cancer. And that's because when Mars is in the fourth house or Cancer, it shows people that are only motivated to act on something when their heart is into it or when they feel like acting. So these are not necessarily disciplined or ambitious people by nature, and they only feel like doing the things that they feel like doing. And so this can cause procrastination or laziness and other tendencies like that in certain cases. Except when it comes to providing for their family. That's the only time where Mars in the fourth house people are overly ambitious. But anyways, as I was trying to say, the other thing about this combination of Mars and Libra in the fourth house is that this shows people that only react when things hit close to their home or hit close to their heart. So like unless something triggers their emotional response, their Martian energy is a lot more, held within, and it's a lot more diffused, or it's a lot more inactive. So unless somebody triggers an emotional reaction within them, the fighting spirit will not come out of such individuals. Or unless a situation causes an emotional reaction or a threat to their sense of security, these people may have struggles with like motivation. Next, we have the fifth house, and with Mars being in Libra in the fifth house, this shows people that do things that will receive support. And they also do things that will make them be seen as correct or validated. Because the fifth house is about validation and recognition, and Mars shows what motivates us, and it's like the quality of our actions. So fifth house Mars placements, they do things in order to receive validation. And Libra is about social agreement, and it's about support. So for one, they would do things that will make them seem right towards others or validated towards other people. And they would also do things in order to receive social support. That's, the motivation behind such people's actions. Next, we have Mars in Libra in the sixth house. The sixth house is about attention to detail, and it's about organization, productivity, routine, and stress, because it's the house that rules health, and it's a Mercury house, which is about the mind. So it's a lot about worrying and mental health as well. If you have Mars and Libra in the sixth house, it shows that you're somebody that worries about the strategy of things, and you're very like perfectionistic perhaps, but like small things may also irritate you or cause reactions in you. I guess you just really like to pay attention to detail is the main thing. and you might worry about the details of a strategy before enacting things a lot, and that might cause you to stay more in the planning phase a lot before acting. Next, if you have Mars in Libra in the 7th house, this shows a tendency to take things literally, because the 7th house and the sign Libra are about others, and it's about relating to others. It's about relationships and how we relate. So Mars being here, which is a planet that represents being direct and forthright, and it can also show aggression or impulse. It might just show this tendency to react impulsively towards things. And in this case, with the double 7th house energy, a tendency mostly to take things very literally. So your approach to relating to others can be very literal when you have this 7th house Mars placement. And that's because the ascendant would naturally be either in Pisces or like close to Aries. And Aries is the key sign in this scenario that matters, because this is the sign that represents the 1st house, and that's the natural sign that has the 7th house in Libra. So anyway, and Aries is very direct and forthright. If you have Mars in Libra in the 8th house, this shows that you're somebody that is motivated by strategy and creativity, and you're somebody that is motivated to beat out obstacles and competition. The 8th house is very competitive, and it's about things that are out of our control or things that we desire. It is also a house ruled by Mars. So Mars does well in the 8th house, and it is quite strategic and psychologically oriented when it's in this house. And Mars shows how we take action and how we compete. And Mars in Libra shows somebody that's like really strategic, and that might also be quite creative too, because the natural sign that has the 8th house in Libra is Pisces, which is about imagination and creativity. So these people are really imaginative, and they have really big dreams that have Mars in Libra in the 8th house. And I guess the best way to describe this placement is like it really amplifies the strategic aspect of Mars in Libra. And not only does it amplify it, but it makes these people more motivated by that. So like the more that they have a strategy, the more motivated they feel to accomplish something. Next, we have Mars in Libra in the 9th house. And the 9th house is about knowledge, convictions, and truth. So those that have Mars in Libra in the 9th house are motivated by justice and defending the truth, or like asserting the truth. And also similar to Mars in the 3rd house, which is the opposing house from the 9th house. These individuals want to prove themselves to be right a lot. And when it comes to disagreements of convictions and beliefs, they will fight for their perspective. These are not necessarily like passive people when it comes to disagreements of beliefs. Sometimes they can create 5 of swords moments. If you know tarot, the 5 of swords is about verbal disagreements and going too far with your words. So that's like the image that comes to my mind when I see Mars in Libra in the 9th house when it comes to disagreements about beliefs, because these people will always have a tendency to prove themselves to be right because they have very logical convictions. And they also want to motivate others and inspire others towards action-based beliefs. Like they have a belief or a cause that they believe in that will likely be related towards, being proactive and accomplishing things based on some sort of logical reasoning behind why you should do that thing. So they motivate a lot towards other people, this cause of wanting to achieve something or accomplish something or take action. The next placement is the 10th house placement of Mars in Libra. So if you have this placement, this just shows that you're somebody that's quite ambitious and you just make smart business moves. This is probably the smartest business related placement and like success based placement, because it shows people that are not only ambitious, but they're patient and strategic, and they may like be smart about their success, in the sense that they will find the path of least resistance, and they may like cut corners a little bit, and utilize partnerships, agreements, and people with leverage that can help them to get them in the positions that they want to be in life. And so I feel like this placement shows social mobility, and like people whose approach towards success is to go lobby others or go appeal towards other people and get the support behind them that they need. These are also PR expert. And if you don't know what PR is public relations. And the 10th house represents our reputation and our relations to the public. And what makes these people so good at public relations is their strategic aspect to how they do things. And Mars is the planet that gets things accomplished. So together, this is a powerful placement for the public and for success and for ambition as well. Next, we have Mars in Libra in the 11th house. And the 11th house can be about our individuality and the things that we are a part of, but it is also the house ruled by Aquarius, and it's ruled by Uranus, which is about genius. It's about intelligence and reasoning. It's all about common sense. And Libra is the sign that is another air sign, which Aquarius is one of the air signs, and it's all about cause and effect. That's why Libra rules the legal system, because it's all about coming to a result based on actions and consequences. And it's very logical and supposedly unbiased. And so anyways, when you have a Libra Mars placement in the 11th house, this shows that you're quite an intelligent individual when it comes to how you approach your actions. And when it comes to accomplishing things, you always act based on cause and effect reasoning. So you have like this very logical, consistent way of thinking. And like you might have a masculine aspect of yourself that is quite logical, regardless of your gender. Also, the way that you may approach things could be unconventional, forward thinking, or inventive. And this is all related, in this case, to Libra. And that is because Libra is the place that you have your Mars in. And what we know about Mars and Libra is it shows very strategic people. So ultimately, this placement shows that your strategic approach towards things and towards, goals makes you very unconventional and forward thinking. And it creates a lot of inventive moments in your life where you get ahead of the crowd, or where, you create something new or have a new approach that has never been done before. Last but not least, we have the 12th house. And so if you have Mars in Libra in the 12th house, the 12th house is about perception, it's about dreams, and it's about imagination. So this placement shows individuals that are strategic about their dreams, and in their imagination, they have a lot of action-based visions, like a lot of things that they might accomplish or want to acquire, or a lot of like desires, because Mars is about desires and accomplishing things. And in Libra, it shows having a strategic imagination. So in their mind, they just have a lot of strategies, plans, or like just visions of things working out in the way that they want them to. Like these people dream about, strategically accomplishing things that they want, or that they want to do. Also, this placement shows people that are quite creative, and that's because the 12th house is about creativity. And yeah, that basically covers this placement, as well as all of the Mars in Libra placement through each of the houses. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video and it resonated, don't forget to leave a like on this video. Also, you will probably enjoy my natal chart reading videos, which I offer on my website, AstroSeri.com. And in that video, I talk about your personality based on your placements and how it is that you come across towards others, as well as your talents, your financial astrology and your career, and your life path based on the North Node. And this is all done in a pre-recorded 1 hour long video, and that is available on my site. And if you enjoyed this video and it resonated with you, then there is so much more to uncover within your chart, and you are sure to enjoy the readings. So definitely check those out if that resonates with you. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys listening in, and I'll talk to you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.